কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি
Okay. Exam. How many of you were there for the shloka class last time? Okay, let's start. Let's recap.
The entire shloka?
Yes.
That he knew.
Oh, I just
That
remember
is the
it.
source, so you
Yeah.
What?
should know it.
अशनम में वसनम में जायो में बंधु वर्गों में इति में कुत्वानम कालवृको हंति पुरुषाजम.
Bangalore.
Jai.
Someone else?
अशनम में वसनम में जया में बंधु वर्ग में इति में what
Kurvan.
what
Name Kurvan.
कुर्बान नकाले
Yeah.
rest you complete.
So that again, last time.
No, I forgot.
Anyone else remember?
I forgot the last time.
Last time is Briko Hanti.
Briko Hanti
पुरुष.
Say it loudly.
Briko Hanti
कालवृको हंति पुरुषाजम.
Thank you guys. Okay, I just need the meaning, not word to word, in your own words. Shalviani, since you are the only candidate to answer.
I have seva. What are you asking?
Just in your own words, the meaning of the words.
I think it was something about a person who keeps doing me.
Yeah.
They'll lose time or something like that.
So what is the analogy? Me, and
Like the goat who
Correct.
does meme
Yeah.
and the person who does me.
yeah. So what does the goat invite by saying me? The wolf, right? It invites its own death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the person who says me, and all about I, me, and myself is inviting one's own death. Okay, great. Thank you guys. Just to refresh these verses. These are amazing verses that Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada always said that we are lawyers of Srila Prabhupada. So, in order for us to cite examples and defend our Krishna consciousness, we need to know what we are talking about. Yeah. So, okay. Since we are talking about me, what is the one thing that we all are associating in this youth class? What is the one thing we all look forward to?
Food.
Okay. Kirtan. What else?
Class.
Class. That is us receiving. What about us doing?
Seva.
Seva, right? So, when we talk about us giving something, the only thing we can do is seva. Yeah. And the word we're going to learn today is actually teaching us the importance of service. Okay. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto. I'll read the verse once and then we go line by line. Okay. So the verse goes like this. केचित् केवलया भक्त्या वासुदेव परायणाः अघं तुङ्गन्ति कात्स्नेय निहारम् इव भास्करः. Very simple. Again, just like last week, there's another analogy that is coming into the picture. Let's go line by line and then we'll understand it. Yeah. The first line is केचित् केवलया भक्त्या.
केचित् केवलया भक्त्या केचित् केवलया भक्त्या केचित् केवलया भक्त्या.
So what's the meaning? Kechid means, just like we see some of those, koi log, just like that. Kechid is some people. Yeah. Kechid kevalaya. Kevalaya bhaktya is one word. Is kevalaya is to do, and bhaktya is devotional service. So executing devotional service, and in the synonyms it's mentioned that devotional service which is unalloyed, yeah, which is not executing it for something in return, or like we want something. No, unalloyed just for the love of the Lord. Yeah, so unalloyed, executing unalloyed devotional service. Let's repeat the first line again.
केचित् केवलया भक्त्या केचित् केवलया भक्त्या केचित् केवलया भक्त्या
Someone who can give the meaning. Girls? Okay, girls.
Kechit is some people.
Yeah.
Kevalaya Bhaktya is executing unalloyed devotional service.
Perfect. Great. So 25% of the words done. Okay. Second line. Second line is Vasudeva Parayanaha.
Vasudeva Parayanaha Vasudeva Parayanaha Vasudeva Parayanaha.
So we're saying that executing devotional service, some people, those people who are executing devotional service, unalloyed devotional service, that was the first line. To whom? Second line says that to Vasudeva. So Vasudeva is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, son of Vasudeva, Vasudeva. Vasudeva Parayanaha. Parayanaha is completely attached. So we all talk about how we have to be detached to everything material. The only thing we can be attached to is
Krishna.
to Krishna, right? So again here, if you are attached to Krishna and the loving devotional service of Krishna, that's Parayanaha. Yeah. Again in brackets, Srila Prabhupada mentions that only to such service without dependence on austerity, penance, cultivation of knowledge or pious activities. Yeah. So we're not depending on any of the austerities we're doing or anything extra that we're doing. Just simple, pure, loving devotional service unto the Lord. Yeah. That is what we know the importance of it later in the verse, but that's what we're talking about. Okay. That's 50% of the verse. Who wants to give a try? From boys.
केचित् केवलया भक्त्या वासुदेव परायणः.
Super, great. Anyone to the meaning? It's absolutely nothing.
Those who render unalloyed devotional service unto Vasudeva,
Yeah.
that's the son of Vasudeva, and Parayanaha meaning completely
Attached.
attached.
Absolutely. Great. So 50% all okay? Any questions? Okay. Let's chant the 50% once, then we go to the third line. Okay? Just once all together. Kechid kevalaya bhaktya Vasudeva Parayanaha. Yeah? All okay? Great. Third line. Agham dhunvanti kartsneya. Difficult? We do it. Okay? Agham dhunvanti.
Agham dhunvanti Agham dhunvanti Agham dhunvanti
Kartsneya.
Kartsneya Kartsneya
No, sorry, my bad. Kartsnena.
Kartsnena Kartsnena.
Okay. Agham dhunvanti. Agham is what? Agham is anything that is sinful. Yeah. All kinds of sinful reactions. We have accumulated so many sinful reactions over the millions of births that we've gone through, right? This is referring to those sinful reactions. Agham. Dhunvanti. Destroy. Very easy. Destroy the Dhunvanti D. Easy. Dhunvanti is destroy. Kartsnena. Kartsnena means completely. Yeah. So it's saying that it completely destroys all the sinful reactions. Completely. Completely means that, you know, sometimes it happens that if something is over, but there is a possibility that it can grow again. Yeah. But here, completely means there is no possibility of it reviving again. Yeah? So, Katsnena is completely. So, Agham Dhunvanti Katsnena,
Agham dhunvanti katsnena, agham dhunvanti katsnena, agham dhunvanti katsnena.
So, till now we saw some people who perform, who execute unalloyed devotional service unto Vasudeva, Supreme Personality of Godhead, being completely attached. Yeah. What happens to them? What happens to that person? All kinds of sinful reactions are destroyed completely. There's one more line. So let's see what that says. Any problem in the third one? Okay, we'll go to the fourth. So the fourth one is Niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Bhaskaraha, not raha, sorry. Niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Niharam iva bhaskaraha. Niharam iva bhaskaraha. Niharam iva bhaskaraha.
So this is the analogy. Yeah, just like we saw one the previous week. This is the analogy that says Niharam is fog. Fog in the air. Yeah, fog. Iva, just like. Bhaskaraha, the sun. Yeah, you all know Bhaskara is another Paryavachi. We learned. Okay, the sun. So this means that just like the sun eliminates the fog as soon as the sun shines, all the fog in the air eliminates quickly. Just like that, a person who is executing the unalloyed devotional service unto Vasudeva, all of his sinful reactions are completely destroyed. Now it makes sense. Everyone can join all the dots. Yeah? Okay, let's read the translation one. No, let's go through the second half first. Okay. Agham dunvanti katsnena niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Agham dhunvanti katsnena, niharam iva bhaskaraha. Agham dhunvanti katsnena, niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Anyone wants to say it? Try. It's okay. You all are learning together.
The entire thing.
No, 50%. Second half.
Agham dhunvanti katsnena, niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Super. Someone put the voice for the meaning. Say.
So whoever is attached to
Yeah.
the devotional service, their sins get completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So you leave no effect, and just like the sun, which is rising, so all the fog dissipates.
Very nice. Yeah. Great. Is it making sense, guys? Any questions? Okay. We'll try the whole verse once. I'll chant the whole verse once. If one of you can chant it back, or otherwise you chant all together. Okay. Kechid kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agham dunvanti katsnena niharam iva bhaskaraha. Anyone wants to go first? Just try.
Kechid kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agham dhunvanti katsnena niharam iva bhaskaraha.
Super. Anyone for the meaning? Okay, let's read the translation. We'll get to it better. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Yeah, easy? Okay? Srila Prabhupada mentions when he's talking about this verse that it's very easy for us to execute these devotional service just like the way Srila Prabhupada has told us. So we've got, it's very difficult to make an agenda, to write down what I have to do, what I don't have to do, but we're getting everything in our plate, right? We're getting the entire agenda, our calendar is sorted. But it's just that we don't have to be lazy and we have to take it up proactively, right? So Srila Prabhupada mentions about the morning program, right? If we if we make sure that we rise up early and complete our sadhana in the way Srila Prabhupada has mentioned to us, our day is very long. Yeah, there is a lot to do that we probably don't end up doing, right? I'm just going to read that one part of what Srila Prabhupada says, just how we discussed right now. By devotional service, one has to become Vasudeva Parayanaha, devotee of Lord Vasudeva. That's all. That is being taught here. How to become lover of Vasudeva. This prescribed method, that rise early in the morning, have Mangala Artika, Kirtana, Bhoga Artika, Kirtan, and all your sadhana. Yeah. There's an example that really inspires me. A senior sannyasi disciple of Srila Prabhupada went through this, I'm not sure if it was a heart surgery, but some major surgery. And then the day that that senior devotee got the surgery, the next day, the same devotee was holding that, he was injected with glucose and all of those syringes, and all that whole rod, that everything, he took all of that and still came to the temple with all of that after going just a few hours of surgery. And one of his disciples further asked that, Maharaj, why are you going through all this pain? You could have rested. So he said, I can do anything but miss Mangala Arati. Srila Prabhupada just instructed one simple thing, that we can never miss Mangala Arati. This is what Srila Prabhupada has told us. We can definitely aspire to get to a level that we can be so staunch in our faith, and that's how senior devotees are attached in a way that they don't. For them, instructions is that's it. I have to do it. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a similar verse. Okay. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Hoy Andhakar. Just like Krishna is like the sun and Maya Hoy Andhakar. Maya is like the darkness. Yaha Krishna, Taha Nahi, Maya Adhikar. Yeah, wherever Krishna is there is no adhikar of Maya. There is no way that Maya will exist. And that's how we should kind of cultivate this in our hearts, that if in our hearts we have Krishna, if we are centering Him in our activities, it's very easy for us to not invite Maya in our hearts. Yeah. The purport of this verse is super long, but there are super amazing points, many technical points, how the sinful activities are divided into categories. I'll definitely tell all of you to please go home and read this. There are many, many more examples that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport itself. So let's try to chant this verse again and understand the mood and importance of how devotional service is very important. And definitely that this point that sometimes we get so much service that we tend to underestimate and take it lightly. But just like how the Lord and you have to give Lord, right, that Lord's paraphernalia, Lord's names, all of that is not different from the Lord Himself. Just like that, service of the Lord is serving the Lord, actually serving the Lord Himself. So we should make sure that we do not have this lethargic attitude ever, and we try to do our service the best way, and we always try to learn and grow better. Great. Okay, let's chant the words one last time. Anyone wants to individually do it? First one. One try, and then we'll repeat together.
केचित् केवलया भक्त्या वासुदेव परायणा अघं धुन्वन्ति गात्स्नेन निहारम् इव भास्करः.
Super. Let's repeat one last time. Okay. केचित् केवलया
भक्त्या वासुदेव परायणः अघं धुन्वन्ति कात्स्नेन निहारम् इव भास्करः.
Great. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
साधु साधु साधु
बस खड़े रहना था. नहीं सब कुछ देना है तुझे, तैयार करेगा. हाँ लाइट कर. हाँ वो सब तो बोलना मैं कर दूँगी. एक्चुअली कर. हाँ ठीक है. हाँ हाँ ठीक है. You don't. But that's a nice way. पीछे से ना कुछ लिखे नहीं ना. पीछे पीछे पर
Is this muted?
straight तो कर.
Bro, is it muted?
No, it's not.
So guys.
जोर से बोल सुनाई नहीं देता.
It's on. Okay, so Siddharth has been part of our class for almost a decade now, or less. I mean, Dhrida Bhakti transitioned into our youth class since almost a decade, coming from Dhrida Bhakti, and son of very, very amazing parents who've been serving in the Yatra for almost 2 decades actually. And Siddharth has been very closely related to me also personally. And we just went to a Mayapur trip where we had lots of fun and food. We visited different places. One amazing thing about Siddharth is that he's very determined and utsaha, like the Shastra tell us. So he's very determined and most up to date with all kinds of information around the world. Whether it's news, whether it's memes, whether it's anything. Personally, I find him to be an inspiration for humor, and he's very funny. Like I said, most up to date with everything. He's an amazing designer also. Now he's working in the events field. So, and also when we have any event that we do, serving at the background where we don't see things like packing prasadam, how we may think it's insignificant, but it takes a lot of effort to come in and serve and not be recognized and go back. So some amazing qualities of Siddharth. So with that, I hope your mother's watching. I'm sure she is. So thank you very much for joining us, Siddharth, and we hope to hear more from you in the coming future. I'll hand over to you now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So will we get into the shloka? Hello? Is it better now? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. थोड़ा कम कर. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So before we get into the class, there's a small activity that we have. So we're going to divide ourselves into just two groups, the girls versus the boys. And I'll be putting up a question here, and you have around a minute to guess the answer. If the boys guess the answer first, just shout Krishna and just prompt the answer, and for the girls, it's Radha. Alright, so I'm going to put the question right now.
Radha, yours?
Yes, that's the right answer. Also very convenient that Shruti is the one who has
Oh.
answered this. So, yeah, very great.
Nice.
So, the answer is a very important answer. The answer is years, and just keep this word in mind, as this is the acronym for the entire chapter.
Oh.
So, the entire chapter can be summarized with this word years, which is the acronym. E standing for eternal education, A for accurate understanding, R for removal of reactions or removing reactions, and S for sacrifice. So, spiritual knowledge is known as Shruti, that which is to be heard. And in Vedic times, people used to hear this knowledge and compile it, and then also teach it to other people without any kind of adulteration. So, transcendental knowledge, which is the topic for today's class, is the one which tells us how we can establish a connection with the Lord. So before, so I'll be speaking about A and R of years, and before we get into the part that I've been assigned to speak about, there are two misunderstandings that are cleared. 4.11 talks about all the paths leading to the same goal, and 4.12 that there are many gods. So the first misunderstanding that a lot of the people have around us is that all the paths lead to the same goal, or they say Sabka Malik Ek. So just the question in that sort, so do all the trains and all the planes lead to the same destination? अगर मुझे आज गोवा जाना है तो मैं गोवा की प्लेन में ही बैठूंगा, मुंबई की प्लेन में बैठूंगा तो गोवा नहीं पहुंच पाऊंगा. Similarly, with the different flights that we take, we reach different destinations. Similarly, with the different processes that we take in life, we reach different destinations. So, like for prosperity, people they do rituals for like material benefits, which is known as karma kand. Then for peace, people meditate, which is called as jnana kand. For powers and mystic siddhis, people go and get into dhyana kand. But none of these flights will reach, will take you to Godhead. The flight that takes you to Godhead is bhakti kand or upasana kand. And Madhya Leela 9.268. Can someone read that for me, please?
It is advised everywhere to give up engagement in fruitive activities, for no one can attain the highest goal of life, love of Godhead, by executing them.
So by getting into karma kand or jnana kand or dhyan kand, you won't be reaching the Godhead. It is only by bhakti kand that you can reach the Godhead. Now, the other misunderstanding, which is clarified in 4.12, that there are many gods. So this happened to me recently. I was at a friend's place, and I had gone for this housewarming ceremony. I enter his room, and I see the room is, it's very stylish. The ceiling had these LED lights, which are like very famous now. And then I go to the kitchen. I see this some sort of temple structure, and the variety that I could see inside was amazing. Like all the way from Sai Baba to Asharam Bapu, it had everything. Now, खुद के घर में खुद के सीलिंग में LED lights थी, पर भगवान के वो मंदिर में कोई light नहीं लगाई थी. So the fact in India is that there are so many gods that people pray to, and that's one thing that is clarified in 4.12. So there's an example that when we go to the airport, there are so many different counters. You know, there might be the counter for Air India, there might be the counter for Jet Airways. तो किसी के पास वो एक एडवांटेज है. एयर इंडिया हैज द एडवांटेज के वो अफोर्डेबल टिकट प्राइसेस देते हैं, बट ये है कि पंक्चुअल बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. जेट एयरवेज में लेग रूम होगा, बट उसका दूसरा दिक्कत ये रहेगा कि उसके टाइमिंग्स बहुत अच्छे, ज्यादा ही अच्छे हैं. हम टाइम पे नहीं पहुंचेंगे, प्लेन तो निकल ही जाएगी. एयर इंडिया में भरोसा है कि वो लेट हो जाएगा. एंड लाइक there's like, you know, Pakistan International Airlines, so there's always this thing that, you know, it might be hijacked maybe. So the point being that with these different counters at the airport, people just run towards these counters and, you know, they pay the price. Similarly, when one wants to achieve a lot of desires quickly in life, they go towards demigods. So that's the difference between demigods and God, being that Krishna is like the Emirates of the industry, you know, top-notch service, sab kuch A1, and then there are specific services that are given by a few other airlines, जिसके पीछे हम सब भागते हैं, क्योंकि हमें वो quick results चाहिए अपने desires के लिए. So 4.12, just a second, yeah, 4.11, 4.12 is covered. Now we're taking in 4.13. Can someone read the shloka, please, with me? Anyone from the guys?
चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यकर्तारमपि यम्. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am the non-doer being unchangeable. I am yet the non-doer being unchangeable.
Yes. So I was listening to one of the lectures from Prabhupada, and he was mentioning that the caste system, whatever is, like, you know, remaining, it's not the way we should be looking at it. The example is given of a cataract. When you have a cataract in your eye, you don't remove the eye itself. You remove the cataract by surgery. So in the lecture, Prabhupada mentions that the comparison of the caste system is done with the human body, wherein the head is the Brahman, which gives us direction. Then the arms are compared to the Kshatriya, which protect us from danger. The Vaishya, which is the stomach, it feeds the body and gives strength to the body, while the legs are the Shudra, which takes us everywhere. So the belly takes food and gives energy to the whole body, while the legs are taking the body everywhere. So everyone's equal and everyone's equally important in the entire process of a person, you know, being feeded and then walking around. So the point comes in mind that are the four varnas, is this based on birth? Absolutely not. There is an example that the doctor, you know, the doctor's son is not a doctor automatically. He has the facility to become a doctor, but he still need to study and he still need to practice and then become a doctor. So there's also another example of King Rishabdev. King Rishabdev had 100 sons in total, out of which 9 of them were Paramhamsas. They were above Brahmanas. And 10 of them being Kshatriyas, which were led by Bharat Maharaj, while the rest were Brahmanas. So a Kshatriya giving birth to 100 sons, while most of them, a majority of them being Brahmanas. So people are naturally, you know, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras according to their nature. There's also another very interesting story about Satyakam Jabali. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Yeah, Satyakam Jabali. So Satyakam was the son of a prostitute, and he had gone to Gautam Rishi. So Gautam Rishi, he went to Gautam Rishi for getting knowledge from Gautam Rishi, and the Rishi asked him, do you know who your father is? And he replied, no, I don't know. And then Satyakam went back to his mother and he said, Mom, do you know who my father is? And Satyakam said that even I don't know who your father is. So, Jabali said, I don't know who your father is. Satyakam goes back to the Rishi and says that, I don't know who my father is. And then the Rishi accepts him, saying that you are honest, and that's a quality for Brahman, and that's the reason I will be imparting my knowledge to you, and I will take you along with the other disciples that I have. So, it's very important. Again, one more example that we can think about is, you know, Shah Rukh Khan and Aryan Khan. Shah Rukh, he started as a radio host, went into TV, and now he's like the king of Bollywood. While his son's career highlight right now, as of now, is just the drug bust. So we can understand that just because Shah Rukh Khan has put in the efforts, it doesn't mean his son becomes the actor automatically. He will also have to clean his image, try, learn acting, perform, and then become an actor. So yeah. So with the three modes of material nature which prevail in all of us, the example is of a boiling pot of sambar. When there's a boiling pot of sambar, you'll see a few moments the drumstick will be on top. After a few moments, the potato or the tomato will be on top. So similarly, there's the goodness, the passion, and the ignorance is in all of us, and because of the fire of desires is what regulates that particular number. So the example can be given of Ajamil, who was a Brahmin by birth and he was very pious. But when he wanted to, enjoy his life and be with the prostitute, he acted a different way because of the fire of his desires, which rose the levels of ignorance within him. So after this, we talk about 4.14. This describes that how as the king in the kingdom is not subject to any of the laws. The rules don't apply to him. Similarly, Krishna has created this entire universe with these rules, but these rules do not apply to him. He's not affected by these actions or the result of these actions. And comparing, there are two comparisons here. One is of devotees who have already understood the transcendental knowledge. They do not run behind karmakand. They don't run behind fruitive actions, fruitive reactions of work. And then there are normal people like us, and then there's this dialogue which is very popular, ke 22 tak padhai, 25 pe shadi, फिर 30 पे बच्चे, 60 तक retirement और फिर like मौत का इंतजार. So basically today people are like हम लोग पढ़ाई करेंगे, शादी करेंगे, बच्चे करेंगे, retirement लेंगे, उसके बाद 4 धाम जाएंगे. And they think this plan is foolproof, that this plan is going to guarantee their access to the heavenly abode. Whereas the transcendental person who already has this knowledge does not run behind the circle and tries to bring in more, tries to do more actions and more spiritual activities in his day-to-day life, thus taking him close to God. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mokshabhi karma karma eva tasmatvam purvai purvataram kritam. Can someone read the translation for me, please?
All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty, following in their footsteps.
So, Prabhupada in this particular, in the lecture that he was mentioning the shloka, he mentioned that there are two types of people. There are people who are polluted, and then there are people who are already clean. So, in this particular process, there are 3 stages. One, who does not want to accept Krishna consciousness. He's going to be dirty and he's going to be stinking his entire life. And then there's a second kind, people like us who have already begun the cleansing process. We're already in the shower, using all of these methods of japa, prasadam, association of devotees to clean ourselves. And then there are the third kind that are already clean. So we slowly and steadily should imbibe qualities and look at the Paramhamsas, the Bhaktas that are already clean, and clean ourselves from the pollution as well. And then his next question shocked me. He told me, bro, tu ISKCON se hai na? I was like, हाँ मैं follow करता हूँ. And he was like, bro, अब जो मेरा ये investment है, इस पे ROI कितना मिलेगा? कुछ तो idea होगा ना तेरे पास. So and I was just shocked. I was like, what do you mean? And he goes like, मेरे dad बोलते हैं कर भला तो हो भला. मैं बोलता हूँ अगर भला मिलेगा guaranteed तो ही करूँगा भला. So this is what people are usually into nowadays. The attachment to follow Vedic conjunctions, but only with the inner wish that they get back, they get the returns from it. And then there is Vikarma, which is the attachment to Indra Priti. Just satisfaction of the senses. The slogan is, जीने के 4 दिन है और आज ही चौथा दिन है. तो आज जी लो. The Vedas mention that we shouldn't be intoxicating, we shouldn't be into intoxication, smoking or drinking. But a lot of people still do it because sense enjoyment, they just want it, that's it. And the third is karma, which are the transcendental activities, which is God in, God out. So the crux of akarma is to please Krishna. Therefore, it's named as God in, God out. So what we bring in is the desire to please the Lord, and what comes out of us is pure Krishna consciousness. So good in, good out being karma, garbage in, garbage out being vikarma, and God in, God out being akarma. Then we're going to be talking about 4.18. This is one of the most complicated verses in the Bhagavad Gita, at least for me. And can someone read the shloka, please? Anyone from the girls?
कर्मण्य कर्मयः पश्येत कर्मणि च कर्मयः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तकृत्स्न कर्मकृत्. One who sees in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities.
Yeah, so action in inaction and inaction in action. It's a very complicated verse, but I'll try to just give examples and help everyone here. So action in inaction, the body being completely inactive, but the mind being active. So the comparison is given of a crane, a bhagula. So a crane, when you look at a crane, it's probably just standing on one leg in shallow waters, very concentrated, and the body seems to be completely inactive. But the crane is just focusing on the fish. So his mind is active while the body is completely inactive. So that's action in inaction. And then there is inaction in action, which is the body being fully active. The body being active while the mind is inactive. And that is what we should be doing. So once our body is completely in the service of Krishna, then the mind becomes calm, it gets pacified, and then it becomes inactive. So those who are engaged in this process without any personal desire for any personal gratification should they are the ones who are immune to such sorts of I forgot the word. Yeah, just such sorts of reactions. So 4.19 and 4.20, it just briefly describes the freedom of the bondage of actions. Can someone read this for me, please?
The freedom from the bondage of action is possible only in Krishna consciousness. When one is doing everything for Krishna, the Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action.
So the example is given of a blazing fire. Just as the blazing fire will burn the wood and completely turn it into ash, the fire of bhakti, of the transcendental knowledge, will burn all our pious and impious actions accumulated from all the births that we have had, not just the human body, but the animal species as well. After that, we'll be talking about 4.21 to 4.23. Here, Krishna starts explaining the qualities of a person who has transcendental knowledge. So the three topmost qualities that the person has, it's the NDA, which is the National Defense Academy. This is the acronym. Also, you can think of it as this way, that this is the Defense Academy program that we need to go through to defend ourselves from Maya and from the materialistic activities. So the first topmost quality of a person who has transcendental knowledge is that he's not attracted to results. A lot of us, we go to the temples and we pray, Putram Dehi, Dhanam Dehi. That's the kind of prayers that we have because we're trying to crack a business deal with the Lord. But the transcendental person is way above that. He's not attracted to the results. He does his seva, and all he wants is that Krishna blesses him. The word bless here is very important. Bless, or if you can break the word, it becomes be less. And that B stands for burden. So when Krishna blesses you, he lessens the burden. So it's burden less. That's bless. And giving our heart in a way to please Krishna without expecting anything in return is how a person in transcendental knowledge acts like. The second one being depending on God, which is dog. I am the dog and I'm just dependent on God for everything in life. So the example given here is a king once purchased 2 baby falcons, and then he hired trainers to train these falcons. Now the first falcon was easily able to fly and he was soaring high in the sky, while the second falcon was always sitting on the branch of the tree. He was never moving. And the king tried to hire different trainers from around the world, but nobody could put that second bird to flight. And the king, because he was very irritated, he just said, okay, I'm gonna मैं पूरे हमारे किंगडम में एक अनाउंसमेंट कर रहा हूँ कि जो भी इस बर्ड को, इस फाल्कन को उड़ाएगा, उसको मैं इनाम दूंगा. So listening to this, a farmer comes, and as soon as the farmer comes, the bird starts flying. Just a few minutes after the farmer comes in for this, the falcon starts flying. And the king was shocked because all of these trainers who are trained and who are in this field since years were not able to put this bird to flight while the farmer did it. So the king asked him, कि कैसे किया ये आपने? The farmer goes like कि मैंने बस branch को काट दिया. So because I just broke the branch, the bird had no option but to fly. So similarly, when we are putting in a lot of when we're putting in seva, when we're doing a lot of hard work for pleasing Krishna, Krishna will give us the results. Sometimes though, he will be breaking the branch of our shelter, the comfort zone that we have created, and we want to stay in that comfort zone. Krishna will be breaking that comfort zone so that we rise higher than that and increase our bhakti and just go forward with it. The third one is being that he acts in knowledge. The person who's in transcendental knowledge, who understands the transcendental knowledge, he also acts in knowledge. He knows that my soul is part and parcel of the Lord. So just how I have this hand which can move, but if I want to chop this hand off and just throw it aside, then the hand does not have any any movement on its own. I am the one who is moving this hand right now. Similarly, me as a person does not have any strength. I am a part and parcel of the Lord, and because of Him is whatever movement I can do is because of Him. And then there are a few more qualities as well, which we'll be discussing about. So the fourth quality is that he's always satisfied. So samau siddhav asiddhav cha. He's satisfied with whatever happens to him. One of these lectures of Prabhupada, he was discussing how there were two incidents that happened in his life. One was when he got married. So when he got married, the business took a toll and he had to shut the business. All the money was gone away. And this was right after he got married. And although that's a very big thing for the rest of us here, he just smiled, laughed it off, and he continued his service. So that was the first thing that was the first experience in his life. And the second was when he took sannyas, when he joined ISKCON, and when he was getting a lot, to use it for the service of Krishna, but he was getting a lot of Lakshmi and other such facilities. So both these experiences in life taught him that I have to be faithful and I have to be sincere to the Lord. So distress or happiness, I have to be balanced, I have to be equipoised. And the fifth one is that a person who is in transcendental knowledge is independent in his livelihood. By this, it means he's independent of other people but just dependent on the Lord. So it's very important that a person is very honest in his daily dealings in the material world. And usually, because of the current situation where in the Kali Yuga, a lot of people are into malpractices, wherein we, as people who are trying to build that knowledge, should avoid malpractices in our day-to-day material dealings. And apart from that, just not just decreasing the and the Lakshmi that we get from these services. If I'm working somewhere, I'm into business development, and there's a lot of lies that we say to people just to convince them. There's a lot that we just throw around just to get the customer, and then we're like, okay, I'm not sambhal lenge. The word is kuch na kuch jugaad kar lenge. So that has to be avoided. That has to be sincerely regretted as well. And the Lakshmi that I receive from such, from working, is to be used in the service of Krishna. And also, it's very important to sincerely and regularly chant, so that we can ask Krishna to reduce the effects of these malpractices or of these reactions or these negative actions that we're doing. And the sixth quality is that his service is never hampered by other services. वो क्यों कीर्तन रसा में मृदंग बजा रहा है और मुझे ताली मारने को दिया है खाली. That's not how it should be. If you know, your service should be the most important in your mind to Krishna, and you should be doing that faithfully. And the last one being that he's not affected by any duality. So stress or happiness, goodness or just being in bad health, he's unaffected by any of it. So there's another example, another shloka in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, verse 18. Sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjita. So equipoise in both happiness and distress. And the translation is one who is equal to friends and enemies, and who is equipoise in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, is the one who has the transcendental knowledge, and he'll be fixed in knowledge, and he'll be engaging his devotional service onto me, which is Krishna, and such people are very dear to Krishna. So, yeah, that is in brief about the shlokas. I hope my speed was not too much. Yeah, any questions? Alright. सबको या तो कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया या तो सबको समझ में आ गया.
So just so that we can take away whatever you mentioned, can you just repeat all the acronyms you had from starting?
Yeah, so the acronym, the word is years, and I briefly spoke about A and R, which is A being accurate understandings, and R being the removing of reactions. So in accurate understandings, which were covered between verse 11 and 15, the misconception of all spiritual paths leading to the same destination was cleared. And then the second being that worshipping of many gods, that Bhagwan bahut sare hain, that is being addressed, and there's just one god, and the rest are demigods. The third being that Krishna again emphasizes in the same range of verses that he's the only god, and the last one being the caste system, which I also give examples of the human body. And then R, which is removing reactions, is that transcendental knowledge helps us to clear our doubts. We have to stay away from bad karma and good karma as well. So bad karma was garbage in, garbage out. Good karma was good in, good out. Kar bala to ho bala. And the last one was akarma, which is on a spiritual level, which we need to go ahead and do in life, which is transcendental activities and spiritual activities, keeping the Lord in center while not expecting anything in return, apart from blessings, which is burdenless.
Nice.
Is the feedback happening now? Or after?
I think we have one more.
There's one more question. Yeah, this question.
It's
This question.
okay. Thank you for the class. I think I love the wordplay. Very nice. It stuck in my mind. So I just had like a small doubt with this whole misconception of all spiritual paths leading to the same destination. So that is karma kand, and then there's dhyan yoga, then there's like gyan yoga, all of that, right? So isn't that the yoga ladder, which is like, it's the ladder and it will eventually lead to perfection of life also, right? We call bhakti yoga like elevator. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I was a little confused in that. Like, isn't it going to lead eventually to the same perfection of life, but it'll take way longer? Like, it might take like births and like.
Are you okay with that?
No, I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
so,
think.
As much as I understand, the difference between, I'll just get back to the same slide so it's easier for us. So yeah, for powers and siddhis, yogis meditate as Dhyan Kand. For peace, people meditate with Gyan Kand. So with people who would want peace in life and they meditate, which is called Gyan Kand, they join the effulgence of the Lord. The example is the sunlight versus being on sun. So there's a lot of difference between the two. Similarly, people who want peace in life, they join the effulgence of the Lord. And also, not everyone who gets into meditation and joins the effulgence of the Lord stay there. A lot of them, because we're unwavering even with the aspect of the effulgence being the supreme, they come back onto this world and then they continue their lives. So I think there is a possibility, but it's just very rare. And we already have the knowledge, so we can stick to this and just go ahead. Any point that anyone else want to add, Matishi? Maybe something else that you want to add?
No, you're a brilliant boy.
Alright, okay. Hi Krishna, thank you so much.
I'd like to give feedback now for
It was a very short class. I'm so sorry. I didn't check the time. Was it half an hour? Was it 20 minutes?
It was 15
More.
minutes.
It was 15 minutes?
No.
5-0.
No.
But it was on time.
Don't worry about the time. None of us slept. We were fully awake. And you kept us really alive with stories, with acronyms, with examples, real life applications, so many things. It was a beautiful mix of everything. And appropriate shlokas. And the way you read shlokas were very good. You know. Overall, it was a beautiful class and very chill. You know, there is no stage.
Is that what we call it?
Cheers.
Yeah, no fear. It was you were very chilled out and
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Krishna. Quick 2 words about Jaydev. We have one superstar moving to the next. Jaydev, for those of you who know, for those of you who have been around, obviously he's been a part of our class for, I think, as far as I remember, since I've been there, I've seen him. So he's been a big member of our class for a very long time. Specifically, for those of you who are new, who don't know Jaydev, he's also had very specific training in Gurukul. So you'll see those traits in him. You know, when he talks to you, the way he talks, the way he walks, they're very different to a normal person, to all those of us who have grown up in city life. Although he's now part of the city life, but he has those special, the special training that he's got. And you'll see that those traits in him, in the way he talks and he presents, which you'll hear him now. Very, very precise, very concise in what he wants to do, what he wants to aim for, how he wants to talk and deal with you. My special traits that I've noticed of Jaydev, if he takes up a service, you'll not see that there's anyone else who can do it better. He's like a perfectionist in those aspects. So if I've seen him do cleaning service, and I've never seen that kind of cleaning ever in my, I don't know how many years I've been in class, maybe 10 years or whatever. I've never seen that level of cleaning. So just to give you an example, so every single service that he's ever taken up, I've always seen him, do it like the best. You'll not find anyone else do it, because he won't take up all the services in the class, but what he takes up, that's it. You'll not find it, that's he'll set a standard for you. So that's what you'll see. I'm gonna leave you to that. Hare Krishna.
I hope I can live up to all those words. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to come to my class today. I'm going to be speaking on a responsible society. And as part of the verses that I have been given, I just want to sort of start with what are the examples of sacrifice that are being provided in the Bhagavad Gita. In the verses that I was asked to speak on, the examples that are given are, can someone please read the examples in the...
Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, demigod worshippers and devotees.
Yeah, and could you also read what they are sacrificing?
So Brahmacharis are sense enjoyment and pursuit of enlightenment. Grihasthas restrict their sense enjoyment within the confines of their marriage. Demigod worshippers sacrifice their material possessions to gain the demigod's favor. Devotee sacrifices all their time and energy in service of Krishna.
Now, can someone help me with the definition of sacrifice?
To give up something.
Voluntarily.
Sorry?
Voluntarily give up something.
Yeah, so why would someone voluntarily give up anything? Like, what is the reason to give something up?
You love something higher.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, fair enough. Anything else?
You love the person.
You love the person?
Out
Okay.
of
For
duty.
peace.
Sorry?
For peace.
Okay, yeah. Anything specific you have in mind?
You give up
For peace of
what,
mind.
fighting
You
ability
love-
for
you love
peace or like what?
fighting.
No, not fighting. Could be anything else.
Okay, so coming to the next slide, I just want, so sacrifice sort of leads us to a certain end goal. As part of sacrificing, different kinds of sacrifice that we see people undertake. I just sort of want to brainstorm with you guys. What are the different kinds of sacrifice that you see people take in your daily life?
Sleep.
Going to work, yes. Sorry.
Sleep.
Yes.
Sleep.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
sacrifice
that's
sleep
it.
to reach somewhere on time.
Okay. Sacrifice your sleep to, yeah,
Wake
get
up.
to places on time. Okay. I think Vignesh said work.
Sacrificing time.
Sacrificing time for
For
coming
Time.
here.
Parents sacrificing for children.
Yeah. The mother, she sacrifices 9 months of her life to essentially give birth to a child. And the father sacrifices on a daily basis, going to work. Or a mother can do the same thing, sacrifice going to work. But yeah, so we see in our daily life that there are people who sacrifice for other people's benefit. It may not necessarily be to their benefit, may not even be to your immediate benefit right now. But during the course of your life, either whether it's for others or whether it's for future self, you'll see there are benefits to your sacrifice. But how do we feel when we make these sacrifices?
Right.
Sorry?
Right times?
Huh?
Prideful at times?
Prideful?
Pride.
Prideful. Prideful when you sacrifice?
Yeah, at times like, oh, you're doing this day.
It's a feel good factor.
Okay, fair enough, good point. Would you say sacrificing is painful?
Yes.
Okay, if it's painful,
It's
Yeah.
painful and good at the same time.
Yeah.
so coming back to the point that I made earlier where I'm saying that we're doing this, it may be painful now, but it's not for our benefit now, it'll be for our benefit in the near future, it'll be for the benefit of others. The verse, Yatada Gre Vishameva Pariname Amritopamam comes to mind here, where basically Krishna is saying that which is poison in the beginning, but maybe nectar in the end, is essentially work done in the form of goodness. Right? So, when we sacrifice something for the pain and feel the pain now, we're doing it for the benefit of our future self or for others. And this sort of stems out of a sense of responsibility. You wouldn't be sacrificing for something if you didn't feel responsible for it, or you didn't feel like, essentially you didn't feel like you had a sense of responsibility for it. A parent sacrifices for their child because they feel responsible for them. Anyone who goes to work is sacrificing because they feel a sense of responsibility for their future. If you're spending time here instead of spending time with your friends elsewhere, it's because you're sacrificing because you feel there's a benefit that you get here. I know you guys will have friends here as well, so maybe you're having fun here instead, maybe it's not that much of a sacrifice, but to some it is. Now, what is a responsible society? To come to the topic of this conversation. A responsible society is a collective of responsible individuals. Now, to be a responsible individual, to be part of a responsible society, we need to start with the responsibility from ourselves. You cannot just keep your house in a mess, your room in a mess, not be able to study properly, meet the requirements of your daily activities, and then go out there and start protesting to say, please reduce carbon emissions, or please, you can't be preaching to others when you're not doing it yourself. So, to be a responsible individual, you need to, it's essentially the concept of, in a plane, when they say there's turbulence, the oxygen masks are up, they tell you to put it on for yourself first, and then to the next person. not the other way around, because that way then you both are going to lose. You both are probably going to die. So in a similar vein, in order to be able to go out to society and help, or at least be a productive member of society, you need to be able to instill those values in yourself so that you have that gravity when you speak to other people. No one is going to take you seriously when they see, for example, if I'm wasting my time playing video games all the time, I can't, there was a time when I used to do that a lot, and I could never look at my dad and tell him that yes, I'm spending my time effectively. It would, he would always know that I can do a little more. I'm spending that time which I could be doing something productive, doing something completely useless. So you won't, in yourself and to the other person as well, you will never feel, we will never feel that sort of satisfaction or that actual, you won't, how do I explain? You won't feel the gravity. I think gravity is the best word I can give for this. You won't feel the gravity of explaining to another person or even within yourself that you need to be responsible. So, yeah, and that's because, is it also because when you do that hard work, you know you've achieved something, when you sacrifice something, you know you've achieved something, you've done something that is very difficult for, say, is maybe difficult for other people to do, but you've put that time and effort to go through it. So in a sense, you can also enjoy the hard work that's put into the sacrifice, right? So I want to sort of instill, get out that nature of satisfaction that comes from sacrificing and taking up responsibility. You can, as I'm saying over there, you can see tangible results to the sacrifices that you make. In devotional service, it may not be as much, but in material life, when you're making sacrifices, you see results immediately. You go to work, you get your salary, you do a good job, you get a bonus. You don't spend time playing with your friends, instead you go to study, you get good results in your exams, you potentially get a scholarship. All of that, anything material that you are sacrificing has a material, more or less, give and take relationship, where you give up something for the benefit, for a benefit to yourself in the future. Now, what are the tangible benefits to devotional service? It's not like no one's getting paid to go do Damodar Aartis in people's houses, right? The benefit, it may seem intangible to most of us. But if you see devotees like Maharajas like Jayapataka Maharaj or any other like Maharajas that are going through severe health conditions, Kalmakarna Maharaj who just passed away as well, all of these great personalities, what did they have to gain? They could have just, similar to Prabhupada, he didn't have to go across the Jaladuta, which is suffering multiple heart attacks, and to reach Krishna consciousness to the people in the West. But the benefit that they gained is tangible in the sense you won't see no one can actually put a number or a weight to their to the benefit of their sacrifice, but you can see it, you can feel it to some extent in the relationships that in the devotees that they've created now. Jayapataka Maharaj is a result of what has come from Prabhupada. Any other Maharaj that exists in this day and age is a result that has come from Prabhupada, and they are subsequently the result of other devotees that are there in this day and age that are supporting us, that are giving us guidance. So similarly, I think on a smaller scale, just between us, by doing devotional service in youth class, or if you've done, say, a youth event has taken place and it has gone well, you feel the satisfaction of doing a good job. You feel the happiness, but you also feel an improvement in your relationship with your peers. That's the definition of like sadhu sangha, that you work, not only that you are dadati prati granati, giving or taking from them or speaking to them, there is also a camaraderie of sorts when you do work together. Like, take for example, people in a military, people in the army. They have the responsibility to sort of protect each other's backs, which creates relationships that last for a lifetime almost. Similarly, the tangible benefit that you can get from sacrificing your time in material endeavors and putting that effort into devotional service is these relationships that you develop for your life. And I think some of the most valuable things we value in life is the relationships that we have. So, yes, those are the tangible benefits of devotional service in spiritual life. Now, I sort of wanted to split the class into two sides, boys and girls. And I wanted to sort of, one side plays devil's advocate while the other side plays for. Basically going for benefits and demerits of irresponsible living. And if you could just take 2 minutes to like have a conversation between yourselves, and then we can just sort of have like a 3-minute debate or something. Then we can discuss what we turn out of this debate.
So who's what?
So can we put the boys as the benefits of irresponsible living, while the girls as the demerits of irresponsible living?
Switch.
Okay, you want to switch it? No problem. You can put it.
Benefits for the girls and demerits for us.
Is this a consensual?
No.
Let's keep it as it is.
Let the boys do benefits.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Benefits, irresponsible. What's it?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, guys, our teammates come here. You're in that side over.
Yeah. Consider themselves on the side. Prakriti.
Rather not say.
Again.
So,
Yeah.
because we are irresponsible, we didn't discuss. Sorry.
Okay, next point.
That's called
Who is the next point?
I asked him for another point because that wasn't the point.
Okay.
Because of that, we just wasted his time and all everyone.
Whoa.
That's irresponsible.
Hello, being loud is not being irresponsible.
So you're causing pain to others. That is what you're trying to say. So
I don't care. That's irresponsible. That's a you problem.
Material one, faith.
What do you have to refute that? That you're by being responsible causing pain to others.
So basically, by being responsible,
Yeah.
okay, you have to take others' responsibility. You take responsibility of your family members, of the house, of the society.
Yeah.
Look at Mahatma Gandhi, what happened. He was responsibility to everyone, and in the end, you were shot dead. Look at me, I lost my head.
You should be irresponsible, guys.
You don't lose your hair.
Do you need a better example, guys? Do you need a better example?
Do you guys want this?
We all are responsible. सबके पास है ना बाल?
You have a point that you want to make?
Okay, it might be like, but it's not sustainable. For how long do you want to be irresponsible?
Exactly,
for
and
yourself?
hairless.
You're looking at.
There's so many
You're
hair
looking at the society's benefit. Okay, you're going to give birth to kids who don't have direction. You're going to give birth to kids who are going to resort to unethical practices, and this is not a good example for the coming generation.
We have an answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to have kids.
Constant miseries. But what do we go by? YOLO. You only live once. Enjoy.
Also because I'm irresponsible, I cook, eat, and wash the same pan, man.
Brownie points are fine.
ऐसा irresponsible comment है ना? बस that is the point.
Okay, guys, one second. Does any of the Mastries have a point that they want to make?
Thinking that you live only once, you're going to spoil the coming lives of yourself and going to suffer afterwards. So, again.
You're saying there's a problem for future generations. What's the purpose of so then?
Okay.
So the girl is saying, one second, the girl is saying that there are consequences to future generations and others, I mean not others, future generations even, and yourself by living irresponsibly like this.
Okay, you're
Mataji, they were discussing responsibilities, so that's why they don't have a point.
Anyways, what has to happen will happen. It's always predestined. So why take the responsibility and anyway?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Just now these guys talked about YOLO. Now he's talking about Kartaham iti Manyate.
Yeah, for the one life it's predestined.
Or are they not?
No, what I'm saying is we don't want to take the
Are you ISKCON or no ISKCON?
We're irresponsible devotees.
वो बीच का है ना, irresponsible है.
Irresponsible.
वो बीच का सब जगह.
Are you ISKCON or ISKCON?
Irresponsible.
He's irresponsible.
So one last point from the girls and the boys to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to say to their point?
Guys, if you all want to know what is the
what is like the consequences, just refer chapter 1 Bhagavad Gita, bro. Arjuna gives all, like destruction of dynasty, you get sins, all of it.
And then Krishna says, I'll take care of it.
Hold on.
Answer.
Exactly.
We just saw in class.
Mataji, Krishna
That's
said,
class.
don't think about the fruit. You do what you want.
So Krishna is saying,
Mataji,
don't
class.
think of the goal, but have the process happen. He's not saying don't do the process.
Mataji, wait.
Do your duty.
No, Mataji, look, his class, he spoke about Shah Rukh Khan's son.
Correct.
So, that's
Mataji
I
said it
can,
was
we can get away with anything anyway, right?
Yeah.
So why do we care?
Correct.
You can get away with anything.
Yeah, Shah Rukh Khan's son, he gave the example on the class, right?
But he got away with it.
Yeah.
No, he got house arrest. Wait. He didn't go to jail. He went to jail for 1 day. Yeah, because we are irresponsible.
It's scripted, that's right.
Because we were irresponsible, we had more fun.
Just to leave you with food for thought, a responsibility that you have to yourself is that if you don't take up responsibilities and you don't make these sacrifices, you lose the motivation to do anything in life. You don't, if you're not working to something or you don't have a drive, you lose motivation and you don't achieve your true potential. Anyone, every single person has huge amount of potential, and all they need is the motivation to go through with that potential and like make something out of it. And if you don't take the responsibility and you don't make the required sacrifices, it will never happen. So you have that responsibility yourself and those around you to make that potential flower, to make something of yourself and show it to this world. So to start closing things off, taking up responsibility by being, as I said, when you have that motivation, you gain that sort of self-respect. And a lot of people face depression sometimes when you have no goal, you have nothing to do in life. Like, what is your purpose? What is your reason to be? There is almost nothing. So when you get this sense of responsibility and that gives you that motivation to do something, that gives you that sense of self-respect. That makes you want to go further and keep pushing. So if you leave responsibility, I want you all to consider that maybe you are leaving out the meaning of human life, the purpose of this human life that we have. So I want to quote this verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Nayam lokostya yagyasya kutonya kulusattamam. Oh, best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then in the next? Well, Krishna himself is telling us that if we don't make these sacrifices, and sacrifices are being made because we feel a sense of responsibility to something, what happiness will we have in this life or in any future life? And that applies to any of our future generations as well. If it's our peers or our juniors or our children or anyone, we don't set a good example and we won't be happy with ourselves either. One last thing to consider is, with this sense of self-respect, we don't want, Jayant was saying, that we be prideful because, yes, we are making sacrifices, we are taking up a lot of responsibilities. I've done so much in the youth class. People should think of me as the next president. I'm like, Dhruv, he's done. I've never seen him do anything in the youth class for a while now. No, you cannot think like this because the people who've come before you, Dhruv has done so much more in the youth class than I can imagine. And like, I spent maybe a year doing some small services here. As he said, I don't take every service, I take one small service. This guy has been managing the entire thing along with support of people like Rahul, Patit Pawan, other people who've been in the youth class, who've been there too, and girls like Archana, Ashish is there. All these people, they put a lot of effort into the youth class before us, and there's a lot more we can do to reach their level. And yeah, take their example as to become something in life. There's a lot more that we can do before we can get to that point to even think about being prideful. So to emphasize this point, I want to leave you with this final verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Naham vipro na cha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro, naham varni na cha grihapatir no manastha vitirva, kintu sprodyam nikila paramananda purnamritabdher, gopi bhartahu padakamalayur dasa dasanu dasana. Where he's saying essentially, I'm not Varni, a Brahmana, Narapatir, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, or a Shudra. Naham Varni, a Brahmachari, Grihapatir, who is a Grihastha, Vanastha, someone, a Vanaprastha, who lives in the, yeah, a Vanaprastha, Yati, Sannyasi. Kintu Prodhyam Nikila Paramananda, all of that is the glories that he's singing about Krishna. And finally he's saying, Gopi Bhartahu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanu Dasa. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis, of the Lord of the Gopis' lotus feet. So we need to realize that we need to also be, even if we take a lot of responsibilities, even if we're doing a lot, we need to consider that we need to remain humble. So that's the last thing I would like to leave you with. Very good. Thank you. Any questions, comments?
Questions, anyone? Very clear.
I hope actually, I know I
Yeah, one question.
Yes.
I had this question in the beginning. You mentioned something about leading as an example, like Acharya. Okay, he's a teacher who teaches after leading as an example. What if someone says circumstantially? I remember there's a professor who used to talk like that. Don't remember the exact thing. So what if he says something like, you should be as good as this standard, okay, and not wind up being a sore loser like me, like how I am. So he's telling you to be better, he's commanding you,
yes,
but he's not himself leading. But he doesn't want you to be like that. So do you...
You're saying this is a guru or an acharya that is telling
No,
you?
no, no, not a guru or acharya.
Okay. Anyone in
Yeah,
general.
anyone.
Sure. See, what I was saying over there is you can give advice. You can tell people what is the right thing to do even if you're not doing it. It just won't have that weight behind it. I can, for example, I can tell you to stop playing video games, but if I'm doing it myself, would you take me seriously? You know, I probably do it more than you. Will you actually take my advice? You think, what is this guy telling me? Like, what right does he have to say anything to me when he's the one doing it?
Yeah,
for me?
there won't be gravity in that person's saying.
So yes, as what you're saying is, sure, they can give you that advice, but you have to understand that if you are also, when you are giving advice to someone, you have to be able to practice what you preach. You can talk the talk, but you've got to walk the walk as well.
I'm saying that he's giving you an advice to become better, but he's also giving you an example of himself being a horrible person.
So you're saying
you
basically
end up
what I'm doing
like
right now.
me, for example.
Maybe that person's in out of humility.
Yeah, I mean,
One minute,
is there
so
a
what's the
problem with
question?
that?
I don't understand. What's the question?
Yeah,
So he won't, like as Jared said, he's not leading as example, so he doesn't have that gravity in giving the advice. But he's giving himself as a bad example. So is that in a way acceptable as well? Like, will one person also strictly follow him because of him being a bad example?
Should a person follow?
No, it's like preaching the not to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
In that
We are not able to take an example. I still don't
Like someone saying,
So example,
that
like I
don't
don't
be a bad
chant,
person like me.
but you chant 16 rounds, don't be like me.
Yeah.
I don't chant that. Will there be gravity in his words?
No, there won't be. No, that's what I'm saying.
But
There-
I mean, why would you even go and speak to a person like that asking him to give you advice?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like,
Why? It's empty words. Everybody's your friend. Like, sure, you take it with a pinch of salt, though, right? Like, you won't take it the same way as you would take it with from someone who's doing actually chanting 16 rounds.
Okay.
I think you wanted to ask something else. What
Yeah,
was the
I think he
question?
got confused himself.
He was irresponsible. Classic Vinayak question.
No, he was being irresponsible.
He took the debate too seriously.
His question was not answered.
Okay, any other
I don't know how to put in words.
Okay, we'll discuss that. Sorry? Is there any other question?
Again, so in Gopinath song that Thakur has written, he says, I'm the lowest of the lowest, you know. He's not saying that because he's actually that. He's saying that out of humility, but we understand, right? So there are two sets of people who would say that I am the lowest. Still, we will look out for that person who is actually not the lowest, but consider themselves the lowest, and we'll still take their advice because their actions speak louder than words. And we're looking at actions and we're understanding. But there is somebody who's actually done nothing. I don't think we will even stand there to ask or hear what they've got to say because we won't even care about what they say. Right? I don't know if I understand the question, but I'm trying to understand it.
I mean,
yeah, the meaning of Acharya, Acharati Acharya, right? If someone is walk the talk, if that happens, then it's an Acharya and you want to. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Hari Bol. Should I give feedback on my son also?
Yeah, you have.
Where is Ramraj? He ran away. Hey, Ramraj.
Yeah. I'm going to get the disposables. Tell him.
Give the feedback and go get the disposables.
Oh, okay. I thought it was very crystal clear in what you spoke as exactly what Dhruv had introduced. So you lived up to the words like you were mentioning but you did. It was very, it felt as if even in between when you got stuck and you were thinking of the word, that doesn't mean you were stuck in between the class. It's just that you're very, like Krishna's called Uttama Shloka Bhagya, it's choice poetry. So you think of words very carefully, like the word you used was very well thought out and well planned. I felt it was such a simple presentation if you look at it, just white background, black text, but it had so much in-depth analysis done into it. And very beautifully what I thought you did was you concluded the topic so wonderfully to say that that actually brings the person back to think that the flyer was the responsible society. So you made us have the debate, you did all of that and you went through the whole this thing to conclude that you have to be responsible, and even if you think that you are being responsible, like actually you're not doing anything because you're the public, and you gave that last class. So it was very well articulated and the storyline was brilliant. So thank you so much.
You didn't say anything like improvement wise.
There isn't any.
After class.
Then I'll have a long list for him also.
Any questions? He's good. Very clear.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
We'll have quick aarti, yeah? Quick
Thank you,
aarti and
Siddharth and Jare.
Who's
She calls, some people don't pick her calls. Sometimes, even then, she is very patient, following up and, making it happen. Nandrani, big round of applause.